The Montgomery estate smells like pine and cinnamon, but it might as well be formaldehyde. I stand in the center of the living room, my fingers gripping a cream-colored gift box wrapped in silk ribbon, and I can't stop staring at what's inside. A lifetime VIP membership to Last Chance Love, an app explicitly marketed to desperate singles over 30. And beneath it, a hardcover book with raised gold lettering, How to Find Happiness When You Die Alone. A.T. The fire roars in the marble fireplace behind me. Outside the French windows, snow falls in thick, silent sheets, blanketing the manicured grounds. But inside this room, the cold has nothing to do with December weather. Bella giggles. The sound is high and sharp, echoing off the vaulted ceiling like breaking glass. I saw it on TikTok. My sister says, her voice dripping with false sweetness. The reviews were amazing. 5 stars for women who've given up on traditional dating. I don't look up. I keep staring at that horrible pink app card, at the cartoon illustration of a wilting flower that's supposed to represent women like me. Women who've supposedly expired. Take it, dear. My mother's voice cuts through the room. Trinity Montgomery sits perched on the ivory settee, her posture so rigid she could be carved from the same marble as the fireplace. Bella's just worried about your future. Don't let your ego turn you into a spinster forever. My father says nothing. Richard Montgomery stands near the bar cart, swirling bourbon in a crystal tumbler, studying the amber liquid like it holds answers he's not interested in sharing with me. His business partner, Harrison Sterling, shifts uncomfortably in the leather armchair beside him. Preston Sterling, Bella's fiancé, examines his phone with sudden, intense focus. I close the box. Slowly. My hands don't shake, though something inside my chest feels like it's cracking open. 8 months. It's been 8 months since I sent those invitations, since I spent 3 evenings at my dining table in Austin selecting the perfect cardstock, tying velvet ribbons by hand. 300-gram weight, the kind that whispers quality when you hold it. Nate had watched me from the doorway, his arms crossed, his expression careful. "Are you sure you don't need to call them?" he'd asked. I'd smoothed another ribbon, my fingers working the silk into a perfect bow. They're my parents. They wouldn't miss this. The memory sits in my throat like a stone. I delayed the ceremony for 30 minutes, staring at those 2 empty chairs in the front row, reserved for Dad, reserved for Mom. The signs I'd painted myself on small wooden plaques, decorated with wildflowers because my mother had once mentioned she liked daisies. That was 7 years ago, but I remember. I remember everything they forgot. Well? Bella leans forward on the sofa, her blonde hair cascading over one shoulder in a calculated tumble. Her engagement ring catches the firelight, a 3-carat diamond that cost more than my entire wedding. Aren't you going to say thank you? The words stick in my throat. Part of me wants to scream. Part of me wants to run out those massive oak doors like I've done so many times before, drive back to the airport, fly home to Austin where Nate is probably heating up leftover Thai food and wondering if I'm okay. But I'm so tired of running. Harrison Sterling clears his throat. "Perhaps we should move on to dinner," he suggests, his voice carefully neutral. I believe the caterers have everything ready in the dining room. Bella's smirk widens. She knows she's won this round. She always does. Except this time, something inside me doesn't break. It snaps. Not my heart, which has been breaking in this house since I was old enough to understand that some children are treasured and others are tolerated. No. What snaps is something harder. The chains I've been dragging around for 29 years. The ones labeled good daughter and second best, and maybe if you try harder. I look up. My eyes meet Bella's, and I watch her triumphant expression falter just slightly. There's something in my face she doesn't recognize. Something cold and clean and final. "Thank you, Bella," I say. My voice comes out smooth, almost pleasant. I'll keep this very carefully. I tuck the box under my arm, holding it against my ribs like evidence, because that's exactly what it is. Trinity frowns. "Caroline, don't be dramatic. It's just a thoughtful gift." "Oh, I know." I smile. The expression feels strange on my face, like I'm wearing someone else's mouth. It's very thoughtful, very valuable. Richard finally looks at me, his gray eyebrows drawing together. "Caroline." It's a warning. The same tone he used when I was 16 and suggested that maybe, just maybe, Bella shouldn't get a BMW for her first car, when I'd received a 10-year-old Honda. The tone that means, don't make a scene, don't embarrass us, don't exist too loudly in spaces meant for your sister to shine. I hold his gaze. Yes, Dad? He opens his mouth, closes it, turns back to his bourbon. Preston Sterling stands abruptly, shoving his phone into his jacket pocket. I need some air, he mutters, and walks toward the French doors leading to the terrace. Bella's smile finally cracks. Preston, it's freezing out there. Preston hesitates at the terrace doors, the cold air blowing in, before turning back with a resigned sigh to join the procession to the dining room. But he's already gone, and I understand something in that moment. He's uncomfortable. He should be. Any decent person would be. Shall we? Harrison gestures toward the dining room, his discomfort palpable in the tight set of his shoulders. The dining room chandelier throws diamond patterns across the white linen tablecloth. Trinity taps her spoon against her crystal water glass, the sound cutting through the murmur of polite conversation like a blade. Before we begin, my mother announces, her voice pitched for an audience, I want to toast this very special season, the year of the bride. I watch Bella straighten in her chair, her practiced smile blooming across her face like she's been waiting for this cue her entire life. My youngest daughter, Trinity continues, gesturing toward Bella with her wine glass, will be married this February in what I can only describe as a modern royal event, 300 guests. The ballroom at the Four Seasons, a dress that took 6 months to design. Preston shifts beside Bella, his jaw tight. Harrison Sterling studies his salad fork with the intensity of an archaeologist examining an artifact. Bella has always known how to do things properly, Trinity says, and the word properly lands on my skin like a slap. With grace. With consideration for family. My father lifts his bourbon in agreement. He hasn't looked at me since we sat down. I cut into my filet mignon. The knife slides through the meat with barely any resistance, but my hand feels welded to the handle. Trinity sets down her glass with a delicate click. Her gaze swings toward me, and I recognize the glint in her eyes. She's about to perform. Bella is settled, she says, her tone dripping with manufactured concern. But what about you, Caroline? You're approaching 30. You can't plan to live with plants forever, can you? The table goes quiet. Even the catering staff, refilling water glasses near the sideboard, seem to freeze mid-pour. When is it your turn? Trinity asks. The question hangs in the air like smoke. I feel Preston's eyes flick toward me, then away. Harrison clears his throat but says nothing. Bella leans forward slightly, her expression arranged into something that might pass for sisterly interest if you didn't know her, but I do know her. I see the anticipation in the way her fingers curl around her wine stem. She's waiting for me to crumble, to stammer, to make some excuse about focusing on my career or not having met the right person yet. I set down my silverware. The clink of metal on porcelain sounds louder than it should. I'm not single, Mother. The words come out calm, steady, like I'm commenting on the weather. Trinity blinks. Excuse me? I've been married for 8 months. My mother's face goes through 3 distinct expressions in the span of 2 seconds. Confusion, disbelief, rage, liar. The word explodes out of her mouth before she can stop it. Her hand slams down on the table, rattling the silverware. Why would no one know about this? You secretly eloped in Vegas, didn't you? Is that why you've been so distant? I didn't elope in Vegas. Bella's face has gone pale, but she recovers fast. She always does. Are you making up stories to ruin my engagement party? Her voice cracks perfectly, hitting that sweet spot between wounded and incredulous. You've always been jealous of me, Caroline, but this is pathetic even for you. She turns to Preston, her hand finding his arm. Can you believe this? But Preston is looking at me, his attorney's brain clearly running calculations I can't quite read. I sent invitations, I say. My voice hasn't changed pitch. I sound almost bored, which is strange because my heart is hammering against my ribs like it's trying to escape. Via FedEx overnight, in February. My father's glass hits the table hard enough that bourbon sloshes over the rim. If you sent invitations and didn't get a reply, why didn't you call? His face is flushed, the vein in his temple pulsing. You did this on purpose, didn't you? To embarrass this family in front of the Sterlings? And there it is. The truth I've been circling around for 8 months, The answer I didn't want to see, even as the evidence piled up around me like snow against a door. They didn't forget. They're gaslighting me. Right now. In front of witnesses. Rewriting history while I sit here holding the receipts they don't know exist yet. The last thread of hope I'd been clutching, the one I didn't even know I was still holding, dissolves. Something shifts inside my chest. The architect in me takes over, the part that knows how to read blueprints and calculate load-bearing walls and understand exactly where pressure needs to be applied for a structure to fail. I stop trying to defend myself with emotions. They don't care about my feelings. They never have. Under the table, hidden by the white linen, I slide my phone from my clutch. My thumb finds the message thread with Nate. I type one word. Now. The message shows as delivered, then read. I put the phone away and pick up my fork again, spearing a piece of asparagus like nothing happened. Caroline. My mother's voice has that dangerous quality to it now, the one that used to send me running to my childhood bedroom. Stop this nonsense and apologize to your sister. For what? I take a bite of asparagus. It tastes like absolutely nothing. For getting married? For inviting my family to my wedding? Which part needs an apology? Bella's eyes are bright with tears that haven't fallen yet. She's good at this, holding them right on the edge where they catch the light. I can't believe you'd lie about something like this. On Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. I'm not lying. Then prove it, my father snaps. I meet his eyes across the table. Okay. Harrison Sterling shifts in his seat, clearly wishing he was anywhere else. Preston has gone very still beside Bella, his lawyer instincts finally catching up to whatever his gut has been telling him. The chandelier above us catches on my wedding band. I've been wearing it this whole time. They never even noticed. Dessert will be ready in 15 minutes, one of the catering staff announces from the doorway, oblivious to the tension crackling through the room like static electricity. My phone buzzes once against my thigh. A text from Nate. System accessed. Ready when you are. Any tonight. I look up at the 85-inch smart TV mounted above the fireplace in the adjoining sitting area, currently displaying a digital fire log that mirrors the real fire burning below it. Actually, I say, standing up from the table, I think we should skip dessert tonight. I walk toward the TV, my heels clicking against the hardwood floor. There's something everyone needs to see. Caroline, sit down. My mother's voice has taken on that edge, the one that used to make me shrink into myself, desperate to be smaller, quieter, less troublesome. Not tonight. I stop in front of the TV, my back to the room. You always believe Bella unconditionally. My voice sounds strange to my own ears, calm, almost conversational. But have you forgotten what my husband does for a living? Silence. I turn to face them. Nathaniel Vance, senior cybersecurity analyst. He works for a firm that protects Fortune 500 companies from data breaches. Trinity's mouth opens, closes, opens again. I don't see what that has to do with anything. Don't you? I pull my phone from my clutch, holding it up so they can see the screen. 3 letters glow there. Now. Sent 18 minutes ago. Delivered. The TV screen behind me flickers. Bella's head snaps up, her tears forgotten. What are you doing? The virtual fire log cuts out. The screen goes black for exactly 2 seconds. Then it lights up again, displaying something entirely different. A computer desktop. Blue background. Neat rows of folders. Remote access activated appears in the corner in small white text. What is this? Richard's voice has gone hard. Turn that off. I designed the electrical system for this house. I keep my tone pleasant, almost chatty, like I'm discussing the weather. Did you know that? You hired me fresh out of grad school. Paid me an exposure and family discount rates. I installed every smart system, every camera, every sensor. I turn back to the screen, watching as the cursor moves without anyone touching it. Nate, working from our home office in Austin, his fingers flying across keys 2,000 miles away. The admin password was never changed. I continue. I recommended you change it. Remember? I sent that email. Twice. Harrison Sterling leans forward, his expression caught between fascination and horror. Preston has gone very still beside Bella, his lawyer brain clearly working through implications. This is illegal. Bella's voice cracks. Not with tears this time, with panic. Actually, it's not. I don't look at her. I'm the system administrator on record. I have full legal access. Nate is simply helping me retrieve my own files. Trinity stands up, her chair scraping against the hardwood. Files? What files? The cursor on the screen moves to a folder. The label makes Bella gasp. Project. Truth. When you dismissed my career as playing with plants. I say quietly, you forgot I'm an architect. Architect's plan. We think 3 steps ahead. We build systems designed to last. My father's face has gone red. You had no right to put cameras in our home without telling us. I told you. My voice stays level. I gave you a 40-page manual. You signed off on everything. There's a camera at the front door, one at the side entrance, one covering the driveway, all disclosed, all legal, all recording to a professional NVR system in your wine cellar. What's an NVR system? Trinity's voice sounds smaller now. Network video recorder. I finally turn to look at her. It's not cloud storage that deletes after 6 months. It's physical hard drives, professional grade, data retention for 2 years. I watch the color drain from Bella's face. She understands. She's already doing the math, counting backward through months. You're bluffing, she whispers. I turn back to the screen. The cursor hovers over the folder. Do you remember February 12th, Bella? I ask. My voice sounds almost gentle. It was a Tuesday. Cold. You were wearing your cream cashmere coat. The FedEx driver arrived at 10:15 a.m. Stop it. Bella's voice rises. Mom, make her stop. The package was blue. I continue. Express overnight. 4 velvet boxes inside, wrapped in ivory ribbon. My wedding invitations. Preston's head turns toward Bella. Slowly. Like he's seeing her for the first time. Turn it off. Bella screams. Mom, make her turn it off. But Trinity is frozen. Her hand still pressed to her throat, her eyes locked on the screen. It's too late anyway. I hit enter on my phone. Nate, receiving the signal, opens the folder. The first image fills the screen in perfect high definition. A FedEx receipt. Signature line clearly visible. Isabella Montgomery. Signed in her distinctive looping handwriting. Date, February 12th. Time, 10:15 a.m. The dining room explodes into chaos, but I just stand there, my phone in my hand, watching my sister's carefully constructed world begin to crack. And I feel nothing but cold, clean satisfaction. That's my signature, Bella says immediately. Her voice has lost its hysterical edge, replaced by something flatter. More dangerous. So what? I signed for a package. That doesn't prove anything except that I was home that day. She's recovering. Faster than I expected. Evidence 1, I say, keeping my voice level. Clinical. Like I'm presenting designs to a difficult client. You signed for a package from Caroline and Nate Vance on February 12th. 3 weeks after our wedding invitations were mailed via FedEx overnight. I don't remember every package I signed for. Bella crosses her arms. We get deliveries constantly. My brand partnerships alone generate dozens of shipments per week. But Trinity sits up straighter. I can see her grasping at this explanation, wrapping her hands around it like a lifeline. That's true. Bella's business requires constant inventory management. She can't be expected to remember one random delivery from 8 months ago. Nate's cursor moves on the screen. The receipt disappears, replaced by a screenshot of an email inbox. My mother's email inbox. Evidence 2, I say. The screen shows Trinity's Gmail account settings. Filters. There's a long list of them, sorting newsletters and promotional emails into various folders. But one filter sits at the top of the list, marked with a red flag icon. Rule name, wedding block. I read aloud. If subject contains wedding and Caroline, then delete permanently. Skip inbox. Do not archive. The creation date sits right there in gray text. February 14th, 2 days after the invitations were delivered. This filter was installed from an IP address that traces back to Bella's device. I continue. Her iPhone specifically. The same device she uses to manage her Instagram account. The silence that follows isn't peaceful. It's the silence of a trap snapping shut. Trinity's face has gone pale. That's not possible. I never authorized anything like that. Of course you didn't. I meet my mother's eyes. Bella has your password. She's had it for years. Remember when she set up your 2-factor authentication last Christmas? She told you it was for security. Preston stands up slowly from his chair. He's staring at Bella like he's seeing her for the first time. You hacked into your mother's email? I didn't hack anything. Bella's voice pitches higher. I have access, because Mom asked me to help manage her correspondence. She gets overwhelmed by all the emails. I manage philanthropic contacts, Trinity says weakly. Charity board communications. Bella helps me organize them. By deleting emails about your daughter's wedding? Harrison Sterling's voice cuts through the room. He's still sitting in his chair, but his posture has changed. He's no longer the uncomfortable observer. He's engaged now. Focused. Bella stands abruptly. Her chair scrapes against the hardwood floor. Fine, yes. I hid the invitations, but I did it to protect Mom and Dad. The room freezes. She's pivoting. I watch it happen in real time, the way her expression shifts from defensive to aggrieved. Her eyes fill with tears. Her voice shakes, but not with fear. With righteous indignation. You sent those invitations last minute, she continues, voice trembling. For some shabby vineyard in Texas. Dad has high blood pressure. Tree. Mom worries constantly about image, about what people think. I saw that location you chose, Caroline, that rustic barn aesthetic, and I was afraid they'd be humiliated, afraid they'd spend the whole trip stressing about appearances. She wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. So yes, I hid them. I threw them away. I did it out of love. I was trying to protect our parents from embarrassment. Trinity inhales sharply. I watch her expression shift, see her reaching for this new narrative like a drowning person, grabbing driftwood. You were protecting us? Of course I was. Bella's voice cracks. Caroline always does things her own way, never considering how it reflects on the family. I couldn't let you suffer through some subpar wedding just because she refuses to maintain our standards. It's brilliant, in a horrible way. She's reframed herself from villain to hero in 30 seconds flat. The malicious act becomes protective sacrifice. The lie becomes love. Preston's frown deepens. He's not buying it. I can see the doubt written across his face, the way his jaw tightens. But my parents are already softening. Already finding the explanation they want to believe. I don't panic. I don't rage. I don't give Bella the satisfaction of seeing me unravel. Instead, I smile. It's a smile full of pity. The kind you give a child who's trying to convince you the dog ate their homework when you can see the torn pages in the trash. Protecting them, I repeat softly. That's your story? It's the truth. Bella lifts her chin. Then why? I say, each word deliberate. Did you throw the invitations in the recycling bin instead of hiding them in a drawer? Bella blinks. What? If you were protecting Mom and Dad, if you were worried about their feelings, you would have hidden the invitations somewhere safe. Somewhere you could retrieve them later if needed. You would have preserved them carefully, just in case your plan went wrong. I gesture to the screen where Nate has already queued the next file. But you didn't do that, did you? Preston turns to look at Bella. Really look at her. Did you? I was upset, Bella says quickly. I wasn't thinking clearly. That's interesting, I say, because the video footage suggests you were thinking very clearly. I nod to the screen. Nate clicks play. The video quality is stunning. Crystal clear footage from the front door camera, the one mounted above the entrance with a perfect view of the porch and driveway. The timestamp reads, February 12th, 10:14 a.m. The FedEx truck pulls into frame. The driver climbs out, carrying a blue package. He rings the doorbell. Bella appears 30 seconds later. She's wearing yoga pants and a cropped hoodie, her hair in a high ponytail. She smiles at the driver, signs the tablet, accepts the package. The driver leaves. Bella looks down at the package. I watch her read the return address label. Caroline and Nate Vance. Her expression changes. The smile vanishes. Something cold and sharp takes its place. She doesn't look worried. She doesn't look protective. She looks furious. Bella glances around, checking if anyone's watching. Then she walks to the side of the house where the recycling bins sit behind a decorative lattice screen. She doesn't hesitate, doesn't pause, doesn't open the package to check the contents. She just hurls it into the bin like she's throwing out garbage. The 4 velvet boxes I'd wrapped so carefully probably crushed on impact. The invitations I'd lettered by hand likely bent and creased. She doesn't look back, just wipes her hands on her pants and walks inside. The video ends. The dining room stays silent. Even the fire in the hearth seems to hold its breath. Preston's face has gone blank. Carefully, deliberately blank. The expression of someone watching their entire future collapse. There's your protection, I say quietly. There's your love. The dining room holds its breath. I watch Preston's face cycle through expressions too fast to name. Confusion, realization, disgust. He stands so abruptly his chair scrapes against the hardwood floor, the sound sharp enough to make my mother flinch. You threw your sister's wedding invitations in the trash? His voice is quiet, which somehow makes it worse. Because you were afraid of sharing the spotlight? Bella reaches for his arm. Preston, I can explain. He jerks away from her touch. You gave her a book about dying alone when you knew she was married? He's staring at Bella like he's seeing her for the first time. Maybe he is. I cannot marry a monster. The word hangs in the air. Monster. Bella's face crumples. You don't understand, she's always... But Preston is already moving. He pulls the engagement ring off her finger with such force I'm surprised the band doesn't bend. The 3-carat diamond catches the chandelier light one last time before he places it on the table with a deliberate click that echoes like a gunshot. We're done, he says. My mother surges to her feet. Preston, don't be hasty. Bella made a mistake, but surely... A mistake? Preston's laugh is harsh. Mrs. Montgomery, your daughter committed mail tampering. She sabotaged her own sister's wedding. She lied to my face for 8 months. He shakes his head. I wanted to marry into a family with integrity. Clearly, I was mistaken about what I'd find here. Harrison Sterling rises beside his son, his expression carved from granite. He turns to my father, who hasn't moved from his seat, whose face has gone the color of old newspaper. Richard. Harrison's voice carries the weight of 40 years in business. I've always believed that a man who cannot manage his household cannot manage a business. My father's bourbon glass pauses halfway to his mouth. Your daughter is deceitful. Harrison gestures toward Bella. Your wife enables her. He looks at my mother, whose mouth opens and closes soundlessly. And you are irresponsible. His gaze settles back on my father. The merger project next month? Consider it cancelled. Sterling Group will not do business with the Montgomery family. The words land like physical blows. I watch my father's face drain of what little color remained. That merger was supposed to be his crowning achievement, the deal that would cement his legacy. $50 million in contracts. A partnership that would have doubled his company's reach. Gone. Harrison, please. My father finally finds his voice. We can discuss this privately. Surely. There's nothing to discuss. Harrison places his hand on Preston's shoulder. We're leaving. Bella explodes from her chair. This is your fault. She whirls on me, her face twisted with rage. You ruined everything. I'll destroy you. I'll tell everyone what you did, how you manipulated. No. The word comes out soft, but it stops her mid-sentence. I stand slowly, smoothing my dress. You won't. Watch me. Bella's voice climbs toward hysteria. I have 2 million followers. I know Massachusetts law prohibits secret audio recording. I keep my voice level, conversational. So the video of tonight's dinner stays private. I won't publish it. Bella's expression shifts toward triumph, thinking she's found an escape route. However, I pause, letting the words settle. The CCTV footage of you dumping that FedEx package? That's evidence of federal mail tampering. Title 18. United States Code. Section 1708. Up to 5 years in federal prison. The color drains from Bella's face. If you dare speak one lie about me on social media, that video and a lawsuit go straight to the police and your brand sponsors. I tilt my head, studying her. I wonder how Dior and Cartier will feel about their ambassador being investigated for federal crimes. Bella collapses back into her chair. The sound that comes out of her isn't quite a sob, isn't quite a scream. It's the sound of someone's carefully constructed world imploding. My mother sits frozen, her hands clutched in her lap. My father stares at the table like the wood grain holds answers. I reach for the cream-colored gift box, The one containing that horrible app membership and that cruel book that I put on the table. I pick it up with both hands and walk around the table. Bella flinches when I approach, like I might hit her. I place the box directly in front of her, right next to Preston's abandoned engagement ring. Keep it, I say. You need it more than I do now. The words taste like freedom. I turn toward the door. Harrison and Preston are already in the foyer, collecting their coats. As I pass Harrison, he gives me a single nod. Respect, maybe. Or approval. It doesn't matter which. Behind me, I hear my mother's voice, thin and desperate. Caroline, wait, we can fix this. We can, but I'm already walking. Through the foyer, past the marble staircase where Bella and I posed for Christmas photos as children, through the massive oak doors that close behind me with a final, definitive thud. The December air hits my face like cold water. Clean, sharp, real. My Uber is waiting at the bottom of the circular drive, exhaust puffing white in the freezing air. I climb into the back seat, and the driver glances at me in the rearview mirror. Logan Airport, I confirm. As we pull away, I allow myself one look back at the Montgomery estate. Every window blazes with light, but from here, it looks empty. A beautiful shell with nothing living inside. I pull out my phone and video call Nate. His face fills the screen, and the knot in my chest finally begins to unwind. His hair is messy, like he's been running his hands through it. His eyes search mine. Is it done? He asks. It's done. Mom's heating up soup for you. His smile is soft, warm, everything that house wasn't. Let's go home. Home. Not the place I was born, but the place where I'm loved. Yeah, I say, and my voice only shakes a little. Let's go home. 3 days later, I'm unpacking groceries in our Austin kitchen when the FedEx truck pulls up. Through the window, I watch the driver jog to the porch, scan a package, jog back. The box sits there on the welcome mat, square and flat. I know what it is before I open it. I can practically smell my father's desperation through the cardboard. Inside, a check. $50,000. The number seems obscene, written in my father's careful architect's print. The note is brief, typed on his business letterhead like this is just another transaction. I'm sorry. Please stay silent about the contract. I stand there in my kitchen, holding $50,000, and I think about the girl who would have cashed this check, the one who showed up on Christmas Eve still hoping, the one who saved their chairs at her wedding. She's gone. I tear the check in half, then quarters, then confetti. My phone is already in my hand. I arrange the pieces on the granite counter, photograph them, open the family group chat. 3 people. Mom, Dad, Bella. I type, I don't sell my silence. I'm gifting it to you for free, as a parting gift. Do not contact me again. My thumb hovers over the send button for maybe 3 seconds. Then I press it. The message shows delivered. Then read. Someone starts typing. Stops. Starts again. I don't wait to see what they'll say. I scroll to the top of the chat, tap the settings icon, and find the words I've been looking for. Leave group. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. Leave. New Year's Eve arrives wrapped in Seattle rain and the smell of Meredith's famous pot roast. Nate's family crowds into their living room, laughing, arguing about what movie to watch before the countdown. His sister steals the remote. His nephew spills grape juice on the carpet. His mother hugs me tight, and I feel the weight of the sapphire brooch on her coat pressing against my shoulder. Real. Solid. An actual heirloom passed down with love instead of obligation. Come on, Nate says, taking my hand. Let's get some air before the fireworks. We step onto the back porch. The Space Needle glows in the distance, and the city hums with celebration. Nate wraps his arm around my waist, and I lean into him, breathing in rain and cedar and freedom. Any regrets? He asks quietly. I think about the empty chairs, the hidden invitations, the cruel gift, the check torn into pieces. Not one. The first firework explodes overhead, gold sparks against black sky. Nate's family cheers from inside, and through the window I can see them raising glasses, pulling each other into hugs. I'm not the Montgomery daughter anymore. I'm Caroline Vance, architect of landscapes and now, finally, architect of my own life. I cleared the weeds. I burned out the rot. And here, in this garden I chose, something real is growing.